All right, we are live again.
Another live hangout on Patreon. The topic for this month's live stream is going to be our teachers and gurus. Our favorite teachers, because in life in general, and especially going on this raw vegan journey, eating a lot of fruit, cultivating health, we've had a lot of different teachers throughout the years that have taught us different things and inspired us in different ways. And so we thought we'd just go through all of them. Some of them YouTubers, some of them not, some of them authors, some of them people in our actual lives. And yeah, just talk a little bit about how they have influenced us.
Yeah, because there has been quite a few. We've gone through kind of like periods. And it's interesting how some of them have really changed our lives pretty massively.
Yeah, definitely. So that's the topic for today's hangout. So thanks for joining us. And if you are watching the recording of this later, because what's the date today? 25th. This is the 25th of February. This is when we're doing the live stream, and everyone here today, you can say hello in the chat if you're here. Thanks to all the Patreon supporters. It means a lot to us having you guys, join this little inner circle of. This is kind of a smaller community than YouTube is. YouTube is so big and so many people. So Patreon allows us to share a little bit more intimately with people and have a little bit of a smaller circle of communication. So definitely thanks to all of you guys. And if you're watching the recording of this, as I was trying to say later, then you can join the next live hangout by going to patreon.com and signing up there.
Yeah. I was going to say something. Well, anyway, yeah, as you might know, as it's been over the last couple of hangouts, I'm in Norway, you're in France. It's snowing outside, pretty crazy right now.
Is it?
Yeah, and our father is out running, I think, very soon. And I was just down in our home earlier, painting the walls. That's why I got marks on my face, by the way, because I was wearing a mask. And I was biking home in the snow with a huge jacket. And that is by far the worst way to experience bicycling. But it works. It's also very icy on the road, so I was almost falling all the time. But yeah.
That sounds pretty cool. I have, I'm here in Nis. My mom, our mom, she's visiting. So she's sitting there on the couch and reading a book, taking it easy. And we've been out today enjoying the sunshine here in Nis. It's been probably about 15 degrees, I think, something like that. Maybe 16 even. And then the sun has been warm. So we've been sitting on the beach, just soaking up the sun, eating bananas, then walking through town a little bit. It's like a carnival going on these days. So lots of people, crazy atmosphere, really. It was a bit stressful, actually. And then we came back home here to do the hangout. And then after the hangout, we're going to eat dinner.
Sounds good.
Yes. Anetta is in the chat. She says, hi. Hello, Anetta. Thanks for joining us, as always. That's really, we appreciate your presence. Anyone else watching live, you can always, as you know, ask questions or comments or anything like that in the chat. But if you want to stay, just chill out and not really participate in the chat, that's fine as well.
Yeah, no worries. There's always one or two people who don't necessarily say anything, and that's cool.
That's cool. I go into several live streams sometimes on YouTube, and I just watch for like a few minutes or maybe many minutes, but I don't really participate. I don't always feel the need to really participate, but Odds Ratio says hi. Hello, Odds. Is that a name though? Odds? I don't think so. Sounds like a cool word though, Odds Ratio.
It's the plural of the name Odd in Norway, obviously. Several odds.
Yes, of course. Okay,
anyway,
so
get on with it.
Yes.
Yeah, we should begin at the beginning.
Once upon a time, we were born. And I mean, let's do this in like two distinct sections. Let's first talk about teachers in life. You know, teachers and gurus, people that have influenced us and influenced us in sense of how we look at life and how our values are and that sort of thing. And then for the second half of the talk, we can get into those that influence us to eat raw vegan and health and that sort of thing, right?
Yeah, sounds good.
So I guess you have to always say that, you know, the absolute first teacher is always going to be your mother.
Mm-hmm.
So our mother was our first teacher, and she was already teaching us in the womb.
Yeah, I suppose. How?
How? Well, just that's how it is. Of course, you know, you learn from your mother in the womb, and then you get born. Get born. I don't know if that's even possible
You're
to say.
born.
You're being born,
No, you're
and then
born.
you're born. That's what I would say it. And then, of course, then she teaches you all the basics about being alive, which is pretty fundamental.
Yeah, for sure. Both our mother and father have been, people who have been teaching us basically the fundamentals of life, obviously.
And good values. I think a lot of people grow up with parents that are not supportive of them, but we have very supportive parents. We that support. Basically, you know, we've always known that we're loved and accepted, and anything we do is okay. Not in the sense that you can do anything, but whatever happens, they support us regardless, and that's really good. Mm-hmm. Because moving from, you know, mom to dad is the secondary. You know, he's usually the second person in your life to start, because first, when you're a baby, you don't even notice anyone but mom, and then start noticing dad, and he starts showing you things about life and that sort of thing. And so mom and dad is like, that's the beginning. Mm-hmm. Then I guess growing up, there's so many people. I've heard a saying that says it takes a village to raise a child, and it's so true. You know, there's so many teachers at elementary school and in high school, and people in the community that play a role, neighbors even, that look after you when you're a child and sort of teach you little things here and there. I think there's a lot of people that influence a person. But for me, there's definitely one person that comes to mind. I was just, because we were going, you know, Mads and I, we were both practicing Taekwondo, the Korean martial art. And one of the instructors, his name was Roar. I don't know how to say that in English even. Roar. His name is Roar. And he was, I really looked up to him. Like, he was the coolest person, maybe along with Keanu Reeves. I thought Keanu Reeves was pretty cool, and Roar was also very cool. I looked up to him when I was growing up, and he was the instructor. And I think just subconsciously, the way he is, you know, he was very, he seemed like he's very honest and real person. Mm-hmm. And of course he was
kind, but also like kind but firm, whatever.
Kind but firm, yeah. That's how it. You know, this is martial arts in a nutshell. You know, firm discipline, but good heart and soft flowing energy and all this stuff. So, yeah. And
one thing, try turning off Skype. I remember you telling me it was on. You're having a little bit of lag. So
okay, I'll turn it off.
If there's anything else, I don't know.
Yeah. So Taekwondo, you know, is cultivating good values, I think, in human beings. There's, you know, every time we started a Taekwondo session, we would read the oath, which where we said things like, I will be honest, I'll be loyal, I'll be, you know, a good human being, basically. So I think this along with just looking up to someone like Roar was important.
Yeah, for sure. There was also always the other teachers as well. But I just remember also that you haven't had the same teacher I have, because you rewind. you're my brother and you're my older brother, and that's definitely a teacher, and on the same kind of level as parenting.
Yeah.
You've been teaching me many things, mainly what not to do, and that's seriously like it's a good skill.
Yeah.
So you have been teaching me lots of stuff. You've always been that kind of pioneer in many things, starting like, especially with the way you are, like you started becoming a vegetarian and talking so much about it, and in a way you inspired me and taught me about anything from health to spirituality, etc.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and this is a natural sort of thing, you know, like you see older, like brothers, it's always like that. The older brother teaches the younger brother, and the younger brother follows the older brother to some degree, and it's this interesting dynamic. Yeah. And you know, also in the home, I guess growing up, we learned a lot from our dad as well in terms of. Well, I know, for example, with the running, there's no doubt. Looking back, my dad was probably one of the biggest influences in my running obsession, because he's always been running, and you said it right now, he's probably out running right now, and growing up he was always running, so he inspired us to be doing sports and that sort of thing, and always supportive, both our parents. Did you have any teachers outside of like, did you have any teachers at school, or any specific people in your life as a teenager or a young kid or something like that inspired you more?
Well, yeah, there was one. I mean, we probably want to go over to YouTubers soon, because that's interesting. But yes, there was one particular teacher on school called Remi, who definitely inspired me a lot. He was very different. He made me excited about fantasy, as in the genre, everything from Magic the Gathering card games to anything like that, even heavy metal. He was like really wearing only black clothes and being our English teacher. Very cool.
That's cool. Then, you know, as we got into the teenaging years, that's when we started really looking at YouTube. I remember, and even before that, the main person that comes to my mind is Mooji, Mooji, guy that sits down and talks.
He's basically a classic guru. I think one of the only true gurus we are going to talk about.
Yeah, in that sense. I mean, we never really approached it in a guru disciple sense of the. It wasn't like a relationship like that. I didn't, in that sense, sort of. Yeah, it wasn't a guru in that sense, but it was a teacher, and teaching us both. I remember learning a lot about, and still to this day, how to describe it. I don't know, like self-awareness or. Self-inquiry, I think, is the most interesting way to put it. Like, who am I? And in the deepest sense of the word, and sort of shedding away layers of illusion.
Yeah, because he's really a bare bones kind of person. He's just talking about the utter basis of reality, I guess.
Yeah, the absolute truth, in the sense that all the phenomena that's going on in our minds and etc. Who observes this? Who is this I? Who is this self? Who is this identity? Who is this awareness? This awareness that is aware of everything that's going on, including what's going on in our mind. Who is this? And is it me? Of course it's me, but where does this me exist, and this sort of thing. So that got me looking into metaphysics and asking myself, you know, the deeper questions, and sort of still to this day I find him very inspirational, and I sometimes watch his videos. He doesn't really make videos, but he has satsang, which means you sit down with a group of people and talks, and he answers questions and that sort of thing, and then it's filmed and put on YouTube. So another person for me is going to be Alan Watts.
Yeah, definitely for me as well. He's been very interesting, but I haven't been listening that much to him. But
yeah, Alan Watts. I don't know if any of you guys in the chat, have you heard about Alan Watts? Because seriously, Alan Watts is like one of the funniest, coolest, and most straight to the point persons I have ever come across. Like I just absolutely, he blows my mind. Like I just listen to what he's talking about, and it's just like, oh my god, yes.
I really love the way you can listen to one of his talks, and he has this way of kind of making you feel extremely what's the word? Not valuable, but like you are you, and you're already perfect. You don't need to do anything to make yourself better. And if you are doing things you hate doing, what the hell are you doing? You're an idiot. You should be doing,
definitely. Kind of He's really inspirational. Like probably one of the most important people, I would say. Like if you're out there and you are struggling with life somehow, or you're wondering what should I do with my life, or what is life all about, or something like that, just watch some Alan Watts videos, or it's just audio, most of it. So just listen to some audio from Alan Watts. Take a walk while you listen to some Alan Watts talks. It will probably just cleanse your belief systems and create a new paradigm that will help you excel in life.
Yeah. And speaking on the spiritual part, I don't really like using that word, but it's a category of that kind of vibe. I've been listening to countless of hours. I have no idea how many. It might be, well, countless hours, hundreds, of Jack Cornfield and James Barras, I don't know. Both of which are really cool. Both have a mustache. And they are, I think they're Buddhists following, Buddhist, some tradition, Westerners, and they have really good insights. I don't know what much more to say about them, really.
I heard a little bit from Cornfield as well, and it's pretty cool. Ram Dass as well. I've heard a lot of talks from Ram Dass, and I've read his book Be Here Now, which is groundbreaking piece of work. And then there's of course Bashar, which is another person that I would sort of put in the same category as Alan Watts. And it's like you need to listen to Bashar. Like everyone needs to listen to Bashar. And please approach it like this, okay? You might totally dig what he says that he is. Like you might totally be like, oh yeah, I like this. An extraterrestrial in a human body talking in a trance. Okay, some people might really be like, oh yeah. And some other people might be like, what? That's ridiculous. But the cool thing is that what he says, and what I believe as well, is that it doesn't matter if you think it's ridiculous or not. Or just what matters is, and he says this himself, what matters is whether or not the information he comes with works for you. And he even says, I don't even know if this is really what's going on here, but there's information coming through, and he's talking. And the information that he is delivering is amazing. And to sum it up, he teaches people to follow their highest excitement, and why this leads to bliss, happiness. And also, just before we get into, I guess, other kind of raw vegan focused teachers, I want to mention that Bashar is also the most important teacher for me when it comes to learning how to deal with money, and learning how to deal with abundance and poverty mindset, and sort of fear. Like the fear of not having enough and all that stuff.
Yeah, we listened to him a lot before we went to Australia for the first time and ran out of money. And I think that was crucial, because we were like, especially me, was having some issues with the whole no money thing. And I remember every time we were freaking out, it was just like, no, Bashar. Keep Bashar in mind, and every time it was like letting go, and it always worked itself out and was no problem.
Yeah, Bashar is motivational in that sense. One of the reasons maybe that I'm lagging, if I'm still lagging, Mads, is it could be because I'm watching you. I have your feed going.
No, this is upload part from your
Yeah,
side.
but it might be affected by it. I don't know. But
I don't know. I don't think you can do anything about it because you're in the
adjust
call.
bandwidth usage. I don't know. We can't really take any chances. But okay, so you come up with any more, or should we get into the health raw vegan stuff? I think people are really keen on that part.
I don't think there's anything specific. We can do the one that blends over. Well, not really blends over, but I was thinking about Dan the Man.
Yeah, it does blend over. He's the first one I have on my list here too. Because then I mean, I guess I discovered him sort of first.
No, actually, I did.
Did you?
Yeah, but I showed him to you, and then a month passed, and then you showed him to me, and you, I was like,
so we sort of, both of us, because I seem to remember I possibly came across him about 6 to 7 months before that again. I just remember whether it was me or you, we both came across this person on YouTube that called himself the Life Regenerator, and Dan McDonald is his name. And at first I was like, who is this guy? You know, like some kind of slick dude that makes juice and talks fancy, or not fancy, but talks like cool. I thought it was ridiculous at first because I was just judging him based on what I saw and heard in like the first 10 seconds, But then I started watching more and more, and then suddenly it was legit. Exactly, straight legit. Like he says. And so I was so inspired suddenly. Like he just completely turned my world upside down. Like I was completely inspired about with what he said and what he did. And this was one of the first. This was probably the trigger that made me go like, oh my God, I need to eat lots of fruit, and I want to be raw vegan. I want to be healthy. And he was so vibrant, and
for sure. I think everyone has heard of Dan the Man. And he is definitely like a pillar of something.
Light. Pillar of light and love. I mean,
in the whole community, and like the raw community. I think he probably inspired and got people started in the raw movement. Probably like 50% of it. Even you guys in the chat, you must have been inspired of him, right? I mean,
he's gone through different periods too, right? Like, so if people are more new to the game, they might have just seen his newest stuff. I think he was inspiring a lot of people, especially in the first few years when he was, but I mean, for me, Dan is almost like Dan is actually the closest I can get to an actual guru, in the sense that when I think of him, I could almost start crying. Like, seriously, I absolutely love him. He has just shown me so much more than food. I mean, it's just something about, it's just pure, and I just love him. Yep, Dan is the man, says odds ratio. Yeah, man, Dan is the man.
Yes.
Our mom is looking over at me as well, and she approves. She knows
he's the man.
He's the man. The first year of our raw vegan journey, we had this. We printed out a picture of Dan the Man, and we put it on our fridge. And so our whole family, we were all looking at Dan the Man every day. Yeah, that was the beginning. Like, he was just he lit the fire, and it's still burning strong.
Yeah, for sure.
Then though, we talked about this in the past before, but I guess who's the next guy? Because I know who it is.
Yeah, for me, it's Durian Rider.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Durian Rider, aka, I guess Harley Johnstone, aka Durian Rider. big controversial figure in the raw health movement, going into whatever. Extremely powerful kind of guy who he taught me all about eating enough food, calories, to be honest, which is hugely important, because I think, as he talks about so much, the reason people fail the most trying to eat healthy, and especially raw and lots of fruit, is that they don't eat enough. They just they eat low quality food, and they don't exercise, and they become unhealthy individuals who will ultimately fail at what they're doing. And that particular thing is like most important.
Yeah, he was. That's exactly what he taught us both, I guess, and me as well. He and you know, I think, I'm sure you agree, that anyone who's not controversial isn't worth listening to. Seriously, like if someone being controversial is like a hallmark of quality, because as soon as someone starts really speaking what they believe is the truth, and when someone talks about something with passion, it's bound to stir up some controversy. And if it doesn't, then it's probably just lame information. You know what I mean? Like, this is not a rule to live by, but I think the fact that Harley is very controversial is partly because he likes to say things just the way he sees it, and even though we might not always agree on what he says, I do agree with most of what he says, though. Like, and nutritionally, well, that's a long discussion. He's like a world of his own when it comes to nutrition. I mean, like, he shocks me in ways that I'm just like, what? Is he going to eat that? But then on the other hand, he's performing well physically, and I think a lot of people that are on the more purist bandwagon, like even like Dan the Man, might preach very pure living and stuff, but what he eats, it just makes me go like, what? Come on, Dan, like, seriously? You need to eat way more bananas than that. Like, and he's just drinking green juice and eating salads, you know. But yeah, that's the details of it. Harley definitely, and I guess Harley's teachings were based a lot on this next person that Harley, sort of through the videos on YouTube, he let us know, I guess, about Doug Graham.
For sure.
And Doug Graham put down the house. It's almost like Dan, he lit the flame, Harley
fueled the fire.
Yeah, and then Doug finally sort of came and sort of built the house, the actual framework of a healthy diet and health in general, and you know, the details, the physiology of it, the chemistry of it, the actual practicalities of eating a raw vegan diet, a high carbohydrate, fruit-based diet, and why it's good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the funny thing is, we didn't actually read Doug's book, The 8-10-10 Diet, before like 1.5 years after we kind of got into the beginning of our raw, you know, words.
What? No, you have to say that again.
I can't. I don't know what to say. The point is, we didn't read his book until a long time after we got started on the raw.
Yeah, that's true. Because it was, we listened to a lot of his audio and watched the videos on YouTube and that sort of thing, and I feel like we both sort of just got the teachings. They're very intuitive. I mean, it just makes sense. Like, I was already, when I heard Doug Graham first speak, I wasn't like, oh my god, this is mind-blowing. I was more like, yes, finally, someone who says it exactly the way it is. This is how it is. This is the truth when it comes to health, nutrition, diet. Like, he was just on point. You know, with Dan the Man, it was more like inspirational stuff, and what he talked about with the nutrition was more kind of like, what? I can't grasp it exactly. What is he talking about there? But okay, somewhat sort of, you know, definitely a lot of truth in it. But Doug was just like simple.
He was like he was the things we naturally had come to do, like eating lots of bananas, for example, or just what felt right for us physically, he was talking about in a way that it made sense scientifically.
Yeah,
It was
exactly.
like,
That's
10 bananas feels really good because this and this happens.
yeah, that's true. So yeah, I guess I would say if I would to recommend someone one teacher on a fruit-based, like eating fruit and health and all that, it would definitely be Doug Graham. I don't agree with everything he says. In fact, some of the things he says makes me go like, what? But most of what he says, I'm fully supporting, and I would not hesitate to recommend Doug Graham to anyone. He's almost the only one that keeps it real, like in that sense, like
he
really.
doesn't go back on his word or anything, because I feel like it seems stupid almost, but I feel like he's always been in touch with the truth about food
Health.
and health.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of other teachers out there who say one thing 10 years ago and then a completely different thing now.
And to some degree, it's we all do change and we continually learn. So it's okay to change our opinions a little bit and back and forth. But his opinions aren't that much opinions. They're more like actual, like that's just like it's fact. You can't deny that every animal on the planet eats a raw food diet. It's just there's no denying that. And of course,
or even carbohydrate fuels the cell in this way.
Yeah, exactly. So I would definitely recommend looking into Doug.
He's actually given out a new book for those of you who don't know.
But it's only available as an ebook so far. I would really like to buy it, but so yeah, it's on his website, Food and Sport. Anetta says, she knows Dan, but it's not my favorite. Yeah, that's cool. Everyone knows Dan, and we all have different favorites. That's the thing. It's not, the thing is, it's not so much who or what the person says, who it is, or what he or she says. It's what resonates with you at any given time. So at that time, Dan was it was a full match. I was just bam, inspired. Whereas someone else might find someone other. And the truth is, and this is really strange to think about, but some people find that inspiration through us. And we're that some people look at our channel on YouTube and they get inspired, and that makes me really happy too. So
yeah, it's funny. We just got 40,000 subscribers, which is a pretty big number.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
I know another one, and that is as I was learning about health and nutrition, raw vegan diet, low-fat raw vegan diet, that is Doug Graham's teachings, etc. I discovered Andrew Perlott. He had a website. He still has a website, but he's not working to build that website anymore. But he had a website called rawfoodhealth.net, and I definitely recommend everyone check that out. Now he's building a new website called renaissancehumans.com, and he's also got a YouTube channel, obviously, where he shares videos. And he's also a sensible person. Like I find him very sensible, and he goes down and he looks at the research, and he's willing to experiment. He does a lot of experimentation on himself to find what's optimal. How much fat should we be eating? How does muscle grow when we're eating low protein? What about muscle when we're under eating, fasting? How do we gain weight? All these different things. He tries it on himself. He makes videos about it. I find he's one of my favorite YouTubers, actually.
Yeah, for sure. It's actually one of the few I have always been subscribed to on my own channel. He's been there from the start, I guess. Very good information. Always something like I trust his information as far as you can trust anything, almost.
I trust him in the sense that he's reasonable, and he doesn't jump to conclusions, and he's self-critical. Like he advertises a raw food diet, but right now he's actually trying out eating beans and stuff, but he's experimenting with removing the lectins in the beans because they're causing him problems with his Crohn's disease. Not that he's looking to eat a cooked food diet, I think, or he's wanting to include beans in his diet. But it's just he's curious. He wants to know: is it just because I'm eating raw, or does it, is it possible to eat cooked foods and still thrive? Or he questions his own conclusions, if you will.
Mm-hmm. And that tells us that we are your main inspiration. That's very cool. Very cool.
Oh, that's cool to hear. Thanks. Do you know any other important YouTubers?
Trying to think about it. I mean, there's many smaller ones. I guess they're not really teachers, but like inspirations in the way that it kind of keeps me rolling. Is things like Megan Elizabeth, Fully Raw, Christina.
Ted Carr is someone I like a lot. Like Ted Carr is actually all the way from the beginning. I remember his channel, Fruit Living, and I was looking at, this is a guy who's actually eating fruit the way I like to eat fruit. Like he eats avocados like that, and he just he eats lots of fruit, and it's and still to this day I find his content to be very inspirational and very high quality. His editing and the way he does stuff, I find his whole thing is very inspiring.
Mm-hmm.
Running wise, I watch VO2 Max Productions, which is Sage Canada. He's inspiring me to run, and it's just he's my idol right now. I look up to him so much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess Doug Graham is also very good on the exercise thing. Although I did read his book, Nutrition and Athletic Performance.
Yeah, I'm reading it again now.
Uh-huh. Is it as good as you remember? I remember feeling like it's 8 to 10, 10, but only.
Yeah, it's good, but it's also funny because right now I would say yes, 95% it's really good, but those last 5% I've been earmarking some pages that I want to share with you, Mats, one of these days, with some statements that he's made that makes me go like, what the hell is he talking about? That is bullshit. But that's that's good.
Did you find the Chempedak quote?
Well, the Chempedak quote is also there, but yeah, he says that the Chempedak is a fatty fruit, but that's just a little typo or a little mistake. I don't know.
Yeah.
But everyone, that is the thing. You cannot expect for any one teacher to actually. If you fully agree with someone, then you have to be almost skeptical to that. Like if you fully agree with someone, it might be because you're just blindly following them. So it's we all have different opinions, so it's okay.
Yeah. Just want to say that odds ratio is saying that Sweet Natural Living never got drawn into raw vegan politics, which is good. Totally, I agree. I'm me and you are so. I don't care what other people say. I never get provoked or anything like that.
And I don't care what other people do either.
Yeah, they can do what they do, and it's cool. It's fine. I really hate the raw vegan politics, if you want to call it that.
Like the drama, you could say YouTube drama. Yeah, Any other before we wrap it up? I'm sure I forgot someone, but I mean, there's so many. Plantriotic, I like Plantriotic a lot. He's got a cool channel.
Mm-hmm.
Happy Healthy Vegan. I don't follow their nutritional advice, but I love their vibe. It's just Happy Healthy Vegan. It's just vegan. The whole kind of chill music and they're very pro. The way they make videos, and that's very pro. It's just cozy. I like it. It's cozy.
Yeah, there's one more I was thinking about. Those very early on, I do remember watching a few of what's the guy with the curls?
Curls?
Yeah. They got this annoying intro.
Matt Monarch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't watch Matt Monarch. I like he's
No,
just
me neither. But I do remember watching a few of his videos.
yeah, sure. It's all good. His part of the whole thing. Like now that I've started this, now that we're trying to remember YouTubers, I feel almost like, oh my god, I'm gonna leave someone out, because the truth is, I watch so many YouTubers. Like I've got hundreds of subscriptions, and I like all of them. And some Vegetable Police. Oh my god, Vegetable Police. He's the funniest person alive. Like it's just so weird, his videos, and I love them. I watch almost all his videos actually. It's just so strange. And yeah, John Rose, and Odds Ratio says John Rose. He's one of my favorite at the moment. Yeah, I've seen him.
Sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've seen John Rose. He seems cool. Yeah, I don't agree with everything he says though.
A specific guy with a beard.
Beard.
Yeah, it's like you really like him, and you feel like you look a little bit like him. Not really, but he's always like sitting. He's like maybe 50.
Oh yeah. Jack Albritton.
Yeah.
Raw Tropical Living. Yeah, dude, like this is like me in like 30 years. 20 years, 25 years, something like that. I don't know. He's probably 55 or something. Yeah, he's really cool. He's definitely down to earth, and he's got a whole raw vegan thing figured out. That's for sure. So many others though. Yeah. Freely, I like watching Freely even sometimes. Like, yeah, she's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think there's several others probably, but that's the main inspirations of our life, I guess.
I think so. Yes, and then so many more too, but it's too many for one video. But this is it. I think we're good for today. Aneta says Raw Alignment. Yeah, I watch Raw Alignment too. Actually, she's cool.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Right. That's pretty much all, I think. Tomorrow I'm gonna do some more painting down in the house. I'm selling their house, and in a while, and I'm basically restoring it to its former glory.
Yeah, for taking it fine, sort of making it look really, glossing it over almost, like painting all the walls and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go run tomorrow for the first time in like pretty much in 3 weeks. I had one run 2 weeks ago though, but that didn't go too well. Long story short, I've had a minor injury. I don't know what it is, shin splints or something like that. So it's been holding me back. I couldn't run for a few weeks, and tomorrow, me and my mom, we're gonna go for a very easy run and just test my legs. And if they're good, then I'll start slowly building up again. If it goes badly, then I'll have to wait another couple of weeks before I try it again. So that's my plan. Thanks, Aneta. Yeah, thank you. See you next time. Thanks for everyone joining in. And again, if you watched the video this time and you digged it, you might want to join the next one live, and you can come into the chat, and you can. So go to patreon.com if you aren't watching this live and you want to join the next one.
Yeah, you can check the link below, or even the card. They're always there.
Yes. All righty.
Right on. Yeah, well, thanks for watching. Join us next time.
Yep.
All right. Ciao.
Bye.